1. Why they? Behavior decoding. These crush because people are trying to make sense of confusion. Why men pull away. Why women lose interest. Why he stopped texting. Why she ignores you. Why relationships fail. Why it works. People want answers, not theory. Confusion equals clicks. Let's talk about something that drives a lot of women crazy. Why do men pull away? Because when it happens, it feels confusing. 1 minute he's consistent, engaged, texting, calling, and the next, distance, silence, energy shift. And most women immediately go here. What did I do wrong? Let me stop you right there. Sometimes you did nothing wrong, but sometimes something changed in the dynamic. And if you don't understand what that is, you'll keep chasing clarity from someone who's already mentally checked out. So let's break this down. Real talk. He got what he was chasing. A lot of men are wired for pursuit, the chase, the excitement, the buildup. And once they feel like they've secured you, emotionally or physically, they relax. Or worse, they disengage. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. If a man only shows up strong during the chase, he was never building something. He was hunting something. And once the hunt is over, so is his effort. Next reason, he feels pressure. Men don't always communicate pressure. They respond to it. If things start moving too fast, if expectations start piling up, if he feels like he's losing freedom or control, he doesn't always talk it out. He creates space, not because you're too much, but because he doesn't know how to manage the weight he feels. Pay attention to the next reason. He lost respect. Attraction can bring a man in, but respect keeps him there. If a man starts to feel like boundaries are weak, standards are low, he can do less and still get more. His effort drops. Not because he hates you, but because the dynamic no longer challenges him to show up as his best. That's why overgiving, overchasing, and overexplaining can actually backfire. The next reason stings a little. He was never that invested. This one stings, but it's real. Some men show high interest early, but it's surface level. They like the attention, they like the vibe, but they're not building anything real. So when something better comes along, or when the novelty fades, they pull away. No closure, no explanation, just distance. This next reason is most common. He's dealing with his own issues. Not everything is about you. Sometimes he's financially stressed, mentally overwhelmed, emotionally unavailable. And instead of saying, "I'm not in a place to show up right now," he disappears. Because distance is easier than vulnerability for a lot of men. These are the pattern you need to see and pay attention to. Men don't randomly pull away. There's always a reason. He got what he wanted. He felt pressure. He lost respect. He wasn't invested. Or he's not equipped. But here's where women lose power. They chase clarity from someone who's already creating distance. They double text, over-explain, try to fix the connection. And all that does is confirm to him that he doesn't need to step up. Here's what I suggest you should do instead. Let's get practical. Don't chase. Observe. Distance reveals truth. Let it. Match energy. Don't overcompensate. If he pulls back, you don't lean forward. You stabilize. Maintain your standards. Attention is not commitment. Effort must stay consistent. Let him come back or let him go. A man who values you will circle back with intention. A man who doesn't, you just saved yourself time. The goal is not to stop men from pulling away. The goal is to become the kind of woman who doesn't panic when they do. Because when you understand your value, you stop chasing confusion. You stop negotiating your worth. And you stop holding on to men who are already letting go. And here's the truth most people won't say. The right man doesn't create confusion. He creates consistency. So if he pulls away, don't ask, "How do I get him back?" Ask, "Why would I want someone who's comfortable losing me?" And move accordingly. Why she ignores you and what it really means. Let's cut through the confusion. You text her, nothing. You reach out, delayed response. You try to keep the conversation going, and it feels like you're talking to a wall. And now you're wondering, is she busy? Did I mess something up? Is she playing games? Here's the truth most people avoid. When a woman ignores you, it's rarely random. There's a reason, and once you understand it, the confusion disappears. The first reality, attention is earned, not owed. No one owes you a response. That doesn't mean you're not worth replying to. It just means attraction, interest, and engagement have to be there. If she's ignoring you, something in the dynamic isn't compelling enough for her to respond consistently. and that's where we start. 1. She's not that interested. Let's not overcomplicate it. If a woman is genuinely interested, she makes time. She may not respond instantly, but she will respond. If you're getting one-word replies, long gaps with no explanation, no effort to continue the conversation, that's not confusion, that's low interest. 2. You're over-pursuing. This one catches a lot of guys. If you're texting too often, double texting, always initiating, trying to keep it alive, you remove the need for her to invest. Attraction thrives on mutual effort. If you're doing all the work, she doesn't have to. And when she doesn't have to, she often won't. 3. Your messages aren't engaging. Let's be honest. Hey, what's up? How was your day? Those aren't bad, but they're not memorable either. If your messages don't stand out, don't spark curiosity, or don't create emotion, they get ignored. Not because she dislikes you, but because nothing pulled her in. 4. She's talking to other options. This is real, whether people like it or not. If she has multiple conversations going, she prioritizes the ones that feel more exciting, feel more effortless, hold her attention better. If you're not at the top of that list, your messages slide down. It's not personal, it's competitive. 5. She feels no emotional connection. Attraction isn't just about looks, it's about connection. If your interaction stays surface level, if she doesn't feel understood or engaged, she disconnects. And when there's no connection, responding feels like a chore instead of a choice. 6. You said or did something that turned her off. Sometimes it's small, a comment, a joke, a shift in tone, something that made her pause and rethink her interest. Instead of addressing it, she pulls back, because distance is easier than confrontation. 7. She's testing your reaction. Not always, but sometimes. If she pulls back and you immediately double text, ask what's wrong, start over explaining, you show her that you're reactive, and that can lower attraction. On the flip side, if you stay grounded and don't chase, you shift the dynamic. The mistake most men make. When she ignores them, they panic. They chase harder, text more, try to fix the silence. But here's the problem. Chasing low interest doesn't create attraction. It confirms it's not there. What you should do instead. Let's make this simple and effective. 1. Pull back. Give space. Let her come toward you. 2. Improve your communication. Be more engaging, more intentional, less generic. 3. Match energy. Don't invest more than she's investing. 4. Focus on your life, purpose, goals, growth. Those make you more attractive than constant texting ever will. 5. Be willing to walk away. If she's consistently ignoring you, that's your answer. Final truth. When a woman ignores you, she's communicating, just not with words. And instead of asking, how do I get her to respond? Ask something better. Why am I chasing someone who isn't choosing me? Because the right woman doesn't make you feel like you're competing for her attention. She responds, she engages, she shows interest. And if that's not happening, then the silence isn't confusing, it's clarity. Why he stopped texting and what it actually means. Let's get straight to it. 1 minute, he's texting you consistently. Good morning messages, quick replies, real conversation. Then suddenly, nothing. No warning, no explanation, just silence. And now your mind is racing. Did I say something wrong? Is he busy? Did he lose interest? Here's the truth most people won't say clearly. When a man stops texting, something has changed. And it's usually not random. The hard truth. Silence is a message. A man who wants to talk to you will. That doesn't mean he'll text every minute of the day, but consistent communication doesn't just disappear without a reason. So instead of chasing explanations, you need to understand the patterns behind the behavior. 1. He lost interest. Let's not dance around this one. Sometimes he was interested, and now he's not. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. It could be the excitement wore off. He found someone else. He realized you weren't the right fit. Instead of saying it directly, he fades out. Not because it's right, but because it's easier. 2. He got what he wanted. If things move quickly, emotionally or physically, he may feel as though the goal has already been achieved. Some men are driven by pursuit. Once they feel like they've won, their effort drops. If his energy changed right after he got closer to you, that's not a coincidence. 3. He's talking to other women again. Real talk. If he wasn't fully committed, there's a strong chance you weren't the only one. And when another option becomes more appealing or easier, communication shifts. His attention didn't disappear, it just got redirected. 4. You became too available. This one is subtle, but it matters. If you were always responding instantly, always initiating, always making yourself available, you may have unintentionally removed the need for him to pursue. Attraction often thrives on effort. If he doesn't have to put in any, he usually won't. 5. He feels pressure. If the dynamic started moving too fast, talk of commitment, expectations, or emotional intensity, he might pull back. Not because you're too much, but because he's not ready. And instead of communicating that clearly, he creates distance. 6. He's not a good communicator, or not mature enough. Some men don't know how to handle uncomfortable conversations. So instead of saying, "Hey, I don't think this is working," they disappear. It's immature, but it's common. And here's the key point. His lack of communication reflects him, not your worth. 7. Something actually happened. Yes, sometimes life gets in the way. Work stress, family issues, personal struggles. But here's how you tell the difference. A man who's genuinely interested will circle back and explain. A man who disappears and stays gone, that's not circumstance, that's choice. The mistake most women make. When he stops texting, the instinct is to double text, ask what's wrong, try to fix it, overthink every message. But chasing silence only does one thing. It gives your power away. Because now you're reacting to his absence instead of responding to reality. What you should do instead. Let's simplify this. 1. Don't chase. Pause. Give space. Let his actions speak. 2. Match his energy. If he pulls back, you don't lean forward. 3. Observe. Don't assume. Patterns reveal truth over time. 4. Maintain your standards. Inconsistent communication is a red flag, not a puzzle to solve. 5. Be willing to walk away. If he can disappear that easily, he wasn't that invested. Final truth. When a man stops texting, he's telling you something without saying it. And instead of asking, "How do I get him to text me again?" ask a better question. Why would I want someone who can disappear without explanation? Because the right man doesn't leave you guessing. He doesn't create confusion. He doesn't disappear when things are going well. He communicates. He shows up. He stays consistent. And if that's not what you're getting, then the silence isn't your problem. It's your answer. Why relationships fail and how to stop repeating the same mistakes. Let's get real for a minute. Most relationships don't fail because of one big dramatic moment. They fail because of patterns, small things repeated over time that slowly erode connection, trust, and respect. People love to blame timing, compatibility, or we just grew apart. But if you look closer, there are clear reasons why relationships fall apart. And if you don't understand them, you don't just lose one relationship. You repeat the same cycle with someone new. The truth, love isn't enough. This is where most people get it wrong. You can love someone and still have a relationship that fails. Because relationships don't survive on emotion alone. They require consistency, communication, respect, effort. Without those, love fades into frustration. 1. Poor communication. This is the foundation, and when it cracks, everything else follows. People stop saying what they really feel. They avoid hard conversations. They assume instead of asking. Small misunderstandings turn into big problems, and over time, silence becomes distance. 2. Loss of respect. Attraction might bring two people together, but respect keeps them there. When respect fades, everything changes. Boundaries get ignored, effort becomes optional, words lose weight, and once respect is gone, it's almost impossible to rebuild the same connection. 3. Taking each other for granted. In the beginning, effort is natural. You show up, you try, you care. But over time, people get comfortable. They assume the other person will always be there. So they stop doing the little things that made the relationship strong. And slowly, appreciation turns into expectation. 4. Lack of growth. People change. That's not the problem. The problem is when one person grows and the other stays the same. Different goals, different priorities, different mindsets. And now you're no longer building together. You're moving in separate directions. 5. Unresolved conflict. Arguments aren't what destroy relationships. Unresolved arguments do. When issues don't get addressed, resentment builds, patience wears down, distance grows, and eventually, people stop trying to fix things because they're tired of fighting the same battles. 6. Imbalance of effort. Relationships require mutual investment. If one person is always initiating, fixing, giving, while the other is coasting, that imbalance creates frustration, and eventually the one carrying the relationship burns out. 7. Loss of attraction. This one gets ignored, but it matters. Attraction isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and behavioral. If effort drops, energy changes, confidence fades, attraction can decline. And when attraction fades, the relationship starts to feel more like an obligation than a desire. 8. External pressures. Life doesn't pause for relationships. Stress from work, money, family, health can put pressure on the connection. And if the relationship isn't strong enough, those external pressures expose the cracks. The pattern most people miss. Relationships don't usually fail overnight. They fail gradually. Communication weakens. Effort declines. Respect fades. Connection breaks. And by the time it becomes obvious, it's already been happening for a long time. How to build a relationship that lasts. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and consistency. 1. Communicate clearly. Say what you feel. Address issues early. 2. Maintain respect. Boundaries matter. Words matter. Actions matter. 3. Keep putting in effort. What you did in the beginning, keep doing it. 4. Grow together. Support each other's goals and development. 5. Resolve conflict. Don't avoid it. Fix problems instead of stacking them. 6. Stay balanced. Both people should invest, not just one. Final truth. Relationships don't fail because people don't care. They fail because people stop doing the things that made the relationship work in the first place. And the harsh reality? What you ignore today becomes the reason it ends tomorrow. So if you want something that lasts, don't just focus on how it starts. Focus on how it's maintained. Because strong relationships aren't found. They're built and rebuilt over time.